Hey there, guys. Nikki here. Glad you tuned in today. Today's Friday, and I am in my production kitchen. I'll let you know a little bit about who I am. So my name is Nikki Lewis, and I am the co-host of the Biz Underdog to Top Dog podcast, along with my husband, Trey Lewis. It's like a dark glare here, guys. Hang on one second. And so for our podcast, Biz Underdog to Top Dog, we talk to successful people in the business world, and those people give great advice to help those in business who are struggling or just getting started in business, to help us all get over the hump and to the level of success that we are yearning for. So I am scoping today on the Black Biz Scope Challenge, and scoping today from my business, and my business is Mallow Crunchies, which is a gourmet crispy treat company. So today I'm going to be talking about the challenge topic as well as doing a little class on chocolate tempering. So let me grab my team. One second, guys. Guys, ready? Talk about some tempering? All right, everybody into the kitchen, to the little kitchen. Okay. All right, so while they are coming in, let me talk to you guys for a minute. So guys, I'm doing this challenge for a Periscope group called Black Biz Scope, okay? So every day they give us a topic to discuss. I missed yesterday, so I'm going to catch up with yesterday and talk about today's topic as well. Oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. I can't remember what yesterday's topic was. Well, anyway, today's topic is your favorite quote. And one of my favorite quotes is, "The only means to gain one's end is through force and cunning." And that quote is by Goethe, Johann von Goethe. And so that sounds like a really harsh thing, right? Force and cunning. But I think what he was trying to say is something that a lot of people in business or just people who succeed in life have to do, and that is to put yourself out there where others won't. You know, force and cunning, those sound like harsh words, but when I think about how I've succeeded in different things in life, it's because I did things that other people might have been afraid to do. It could be being vulnerable by being yourself and just letting people know who you really are, or it could be asking for things that other people are afraid to ask for, and you're kind of forcing yourself in a situation, forcing yourself into something that you want. And I did that as a kid. Did you guys do that? Yes. So this is some of my team here, guys. This is Miss Brianna, Miss Amira, and we got one more coming in a second. So, so only way to gain one's end is through force and cunning. So that's one of my favorite quotes. And it just reminds me that those that are go-getters do what it takes to get where they need to go. And not necessarily doing it in a way that's going to offend someone else, but putting yourself out there more than other people will. So that's my favorite quote. So now we have Summer joining us. Say hi, Summer.
Hello.
All right. Oh, I remember yesterday's topic. So again, if you're just joining, we're doing the Black Biz Scope Challenge, and yesterday's topic was your favorite Black-owned business. So one of my favorite Black-owned businesses is a business that's owned by Paul C. Brunson. So Paul C. Brunson is a matchmaker, and he is one of the few Black matchmakers out there. So he calls himself the real life Hitch. Did you guys see the movie Hitch?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we interviewed Paul on our podcast, Biz Underdog to Top Dog. It's episode 4 if you want to go check it out. And he talks about his journey into matchmaking, and he's a great matchmaker. So if anybody out there is looking for a date or a husband or wife, check out Paul's business. It's really cool. And Paul, I'll just say, is he has also worked for a lot of different billionaires. So he used to work for Oprah, and he had a show on OWN Network. He had his own show on the OWN Network, and he was kind of like right-hand guy to Oprah Winfrey. So he has a lot of good tips. Check out our episode 4 to hear from Paul. So, yeah, so that's my quote. So I'm caught up, and now we're going to get to tempering. And I'll just say that quote from Goethe, we discussed that on the podcast as well with Guy Fieri. So we interviewed Guy Fieri. I don't know if you guys know him from the Food Network. Why are you trying to get out of the picture, Brianna? But so Guy Fieri, he's a TV host on the Food Network, and he has a lot of restaurants himself. But listen to that episode. That's the first episode we did talking to Guy Fieri, and he talks about what he thinks about that quote that I love. All right, so today we are in our kitchen, and we're going to be doing some chocolate tempering. Let me switch this. So guys, this is some chocolate. It's melting in our tempering machine here. And we're going to do a little lesson on it. Now, our team, most of them know how to do this. We have Brianna here who is interning with us. So Brianna, this is a good little lesson here. So she is in high school and wants to work in the what field?
Culinary field, probably entrepreneurship or management, something along those lines.
Awesome. So she's working in our kitchen so she can pick up some tips and learn about baking and cooking and hospitality and all that goes into it. Same with Miss Amira, who has worked here as an employee but is now a student at Stratford University for pastry, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And so she's doing an internship with us as well. So we guys, because we want to use good chocolate. So you know, we make crispy treats. So my company is Mallow Crunchies, which are gourmet crispy treats. And our crispy treats are different because we make all the marshmallow from scratch. Good ingredients, no preservatives. You know, we're not using the margarine that's in a lot of treats. We're using some good butter. You know, so good things that are going into it. We leave out the tetrasodium pyrophosphate and all the junky stuff that's in other marshmallow. But we also temper chocolate. So, you know, we're making our caramel from scratch. We're what else do we do? We're smoking pumpkin seeds to mix into our treats. So we're going through a lot of different steps for the different treats that we do. And we temper chocolate because I feel weird because I'm like talking to the camera and talking to you guys. Where should I look? So we temper chocolate because we want to use a good chocolate. And when you're using good chocolate, you can't just melt it by regular methods. You have to go through a breakdown process. So first of all, we use a good brand of chocolate. That's where it starts. But then we have a whole tempering process. Let's see. So this is our little tempering machine here. And the first thing we do is we put in a bunch of chocolate and then we melt that chocolate down. So typically we'll leave this machine on overnight and let it melt down so it'll be nice and smooth the next day. But the number one thing we want to do here, we were trying to break down the crystallization. So when the chocolate is hard, it's crystallized, and we want to break down the crystals because if we don't, then after it melts and it cools off and it becomes hard again, it does something which is called bloom. And bloom is when you see chocolate that looks white and you think it's bad chocolate, but really it's good chocolate. It's just that it wasn't tempered properly, and that's called bloom. So we don't want to have that look because it's just off-putting to our customers. I'm making a mess. So what we do is to prevent that is we're breaking down the crystals, and so we have to press the chocolate down. So as it's melting, we want to make sure we're pressing the chocolate so we can break down the crystals and smooth it out. You can't see the crystals, of course, but that's what we're doing here is pressing it. And so even when it melts, like if this was fully melted, you still want to be pressing and stirring because you're literally pressing, breaking down those crystals. So the first step with tempering is to melt the chocolate at a high temperature. So the temperature, here I am. Okay, so I'm gonna just talk like this so we can all, here we go, so we can all get in there. So the temperature, guys, is important. Depending on the type of chocolate you have, there's always a different type of temperature that you're going to use. So with dark chocolate, we usually temper between, do you remember? Anybody remember? Mary, you know, come on.
When do we seed it?
The first, like the high temperature.
It's the 122.
Yep. So like, 113 to 122. So in that range, we want to melt the chocolate at that temperature. You don't want it higher, you don't want it lower because it's going to mess up the whole process. So that's with dark chocolate. But if you're doing white chocolate or milk chocolate, it's different as well. So, all right, so first we melt it down, and then once we have it fully melted, once we have it fully melted, then, and we've pressed it down and broken down those crystals, then we want to bring it back up. But let me say a couple points too. One thing we have in here is this little machine here that tells us what the humidity is in the room. So right now the humidity is looking like 58%. So guys, when you're tempering, make sure you are always looking at this, because the temperature, really, the humidity, which is the top one, should really be 50% or below. So when we're tempering, we turn the air up. So we typically turn the air up to